Fountains of Wayne, welcome to WFMU. I am thrilled to have you guys here, one of my all-time favorite bands. And you guys have been together for about 16 years, which is kind of mind-boggling, considering how fresh it all is. Tell me, Chris and Adam, how did you guys meet at college? Is that right?
That's true, yeah. Williams College in Western Massachusetts.
Was it the kind of thing where you were the only two guys who liked the same kind of music? I sort of had that experience. Like, I met guys in college who had the Nick Lowe record, and no one I went to high school with had it. So it was amazing to find those people.
I mean, it wasn't even that. There just weren't even very many musicians at all. We actually liked a lot of different music when we first met, and I think that we traded a lot of records back then and started to like a lot of the same stuff as we went. But we had stuff in common that we liked, obviously, Beatles and a lot of 60s music and a lot of kind of 80s British stuff.
Adam, you grew up in Montclair, New Jersey.
I did, yes.
And Chris, where'd you grow up?
Outside of Philly.
And was it like AM radio in the backseat of the parents' car, or did your folks have music in the house?
What was classic rock. FM, Philly's WMMR and WISP, yeah, Pink Floyd and 38 Special.
And playing guitar in high school or playing in bands in high school?
100-watt flamethrower, as I recall.
Yeah. 40,000 watt.
Oh.
Did you play in a cover band? Did you write songs in high school?
Not in high school, no.
Were you a closet songwriter?
Yeah, I played in this group that was kind of like the Whiffin' Poofs at Yale. Do you know about them?
Like a chorusy.
Yeah, except our group had guitars, so it was like 15 guys and 2 guys with guitars.
And did you play in bands in high school?
I did. I played in a band in high school with some friends, and we used to race to see who could get to the end of the song first. Sometimes we didn't always all end up there at the same time.
One of those bands.
Yeah.
Jody was in band since he was 6, right?
6 years of age.
6 years of age.
Wow.
I've seen pictures. I saw their band portrait.
Jody, guitar player. Where did you grow up?
Well, Guitarville, South Carolina.
Right.
Charleston, actually.
And so you guys meet in college, and was the idea let's form Fountains of Wayne right away, or was it just let's play some songs on guitars?
I mean, actually, for the first couple of years that we knew each other, we weren't playing in a band together. I was playing in a cover band that used to play parties at school and stuff. And I don't know, Chris, what were you doing?
Playing acoustic, kind of open mics and stuff. And then the drummer from Adam's band and Adam and me got together and played this kind of stripped down acoustic stuff for a while. And
it wasn't Fountains of Wayne until many, many years later. I mean, we kind of started doing our own original stuff, and then after college we started playing in clubs in Boston and New York a little bit. We had a different band name, several different band names. But,
I guess what I'm trying to get is the Fountains of Wayne point of view is so strong. When did that sort of develop, and was it a conscious thing?
Actually, it's funny that you say that, because when we first started writing songs together, separately and together, but just playing each other's songs even, there was our so-called serious songs, and then there was kind of these goofy songs that were just to amuse each other that we didn't really consider to be songs. But those sometimes would be the ones that everyone asked for, just the joke songs, basically. And I think 10 years later, when we started Fountains of Wayne, we figured out a little bit of a way to merge those two things. I mean, Chris actually wrote Radiation Vibe, which was the first single for Fountains of Wayne, and kind of our first song as Fountains of Wayne. And that was the first song where I had heard him sort of having fun, but yet it wasn't a total novelty song. It was a really good song, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's funny, but it's not too funny. And
so the idea was if we can just do that, every song will be geniuses?
I mean, I found it very inspirational when he played me that song, because it just had this spirit that it was definitely his own personality, but it was not just comedy either. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, the other thing is that first record, we didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. It was really just kind of a snapshot of this drunken week that we had in 1996.
But at that, I mean, you guys were, from what I've read, daring each other to write songs, almost, or sort of let's see who can write the most songs this day or this week or this hour.
I mean, the weird thing is at that point we had already written a zillion songs and played a million times together, so it was we'd kind of taken a break. This precursor band that we had to Fountains of Wayne had kind of fallen apart and gotten into some record company mess, and it was we were really depressed about it for a while. Then we got back together and wrote this new batch. So we were drawing on all this experience we had together.
And first record recorded real quickly.
Yeah, it was a week.
Mostly just the two, right? Danny Weinkauf, I think, on the bass.
Danny Weinkauf, our friend, played bass. I actually played drums on that record. I didn't play bass on that record. And we just kind of banged it out. And we sort of decided at the beginning of it, let's just keep it really simple, one amp, one guitar, one pedal. We literally had one pedal.
It's an amazing record. I think it sort of changed a lot of people's life. I think in that sort of post-Nirvana, like, record company signed every band who had one pedal, you know? And you guys, there was like, it's just such a refreshing, great record. And every time Fountains of Wayne puts out a record, there's always like a slight fear on my part that is going to suck, you know? You just hate when your favorite band puts out a record and you're like, you know, listen to it. And anyway, Sky Full of Holes, his new record, comes out August 2nd on Yep Rock, new label for you guys. Do you guys want to play a song? Is there maybe a song from that you could do? So my introduction kind of flows naturally.
Yes.
What do you got?
You want to start with Richie and Ruben?
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
They opened up a bar called Living Hell. Right from the start it didn't go too well. They didn't have the vibe or quite the right clientele. They ordered velvet rope and the doorman laughed. They got robbed blind by half the wait staff. 6 short weeks and they were forced to sell. Richie and Ruben don't know what they're doing. Richie and Ruben are both a little out of their minds. Don't give them a dime. They blow through your dough just like they blew through mine. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Where did the money go? Where did the money go? They opened a boutique they called Debris, together with some kid from FIT. But later it turned out he never quite got his degree. $1,100 for a ripped up shirt became pre-stained with bleach and black dirt. Seemed just a little bit too steep to me. Richie and Ruben don't know what they're doing. Richie and Ruben are both a little out of their minds. Don't give them a dime. They'll blow through your dough just like they blew through mine. And ever since the 7th grade, they've been saying that we've got it made. And I still haven't gotten paid at all. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Where did the money go? Richie and Ruben don't know what they're doing. Richie and Ruben are both a little. They're both a little. They're both a little out of their minds.
There's Adam, Chris, and Jody from Fountains of Wayne. I know it's hard to sing this early in the morning. Thank you, Chris. It's hard. So the first album, 1986, were there a lot of expectations?
1996.
Oh, 1990.
Not that old. We are
Only
very
6
old.
in 1986.
1996. Were there expectations? What was the idea? Because you're signed to basically Atlantic Records, which is, you know...
Well, we made that record really before we were signed anyway. Well, we actually went in and did 4 songs and gave that to some record companies, and that got us a record deal. And then we kind of went and finished the record before anyone had a chance to get involved. So I think we kind of just handed it in.
That record came out before the band had ever even played a single gig, too, which was kind of interesting. Like the label signed us, and then they all showed up for this showcase at
Mercury Lounge.
the Mercury Lounge. And they're like, oh, I guess this is a band. There's no proof before that.
I mean, I had actually done some stuff with Jody. Jody used to play in a band called the Bell Tower, and I played bass for them for a brief period, a few years before that. So when we realized we had to play some shows as Fountains of Wayne, I called him up and said, hey, I'm doing this thing. Do you want to be involved in this? And kind of just figured it was like a lark. We didn't really know it was going to last.
And 15 years later, you've had the same band, yeah.
And 5 years prior, actually, Danny Weinkauf played bass for me in the Bell Tower.
Huh. It's an incestuous
Small
world. Let's talk about the songwriting. All the songs on all the records are credited to the two of you jointly, and you can't. Lennon and McCartney, you could tell because Lennon sang some of the songs and McCartney sang some of the songs, and generally Chris sings all the songs. How is it? Do you guys help each other write? Do you write in your house? Do you write in your kitchen? Do you write while you're making a record? How does it work?
No, we write separately. There's 2 songs, I think, on the first record where we actually co-wrote them together. I've Got a Flare and You Curse It Girls.
Where we actually just sat with nothing and came up with
Sat in a room together and didn't...
Yeah, but since then, every song has been...
Not even can you do the middle eight for this? Nothing.
No, I mean, every once in a while there'll be like a line one of us doesn't like and we'll make a suggestion for an alternate or something like that. But
I would imagine sharing the credit on everything as a de facto agreement does make that a little easier. There's no...
Yeah, I mean, that was the initial motivation. It was just like we both wanted to try to keep the records pretty 50-50, and we didn't want to have to think about each time, well, what did you do? I did 72% of this one, I feel,
Right, yeah.
So.
Well, because I have a hard time figuring out who wrote which song, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's definitely true that the general kind of platonic ideal of what's Adam's song and what is my song kind of blended over the years. I think we've influenced each other to the point where...
Yeah, and also, I mean, in my case at least, I'm also trying to write something that Chris is going to feel comfortable singing, which sometimes he is and sometimes he isn't, but it all gets filtered through his, his voice and his delivery.
The records come every 4 years-ish. Do you write a lot more songs than get on the record?
None more.
0% more.
I think.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the band for a second. Jody's here. I was going to ask this when he wasn't here, but why is Jody such
Why is he here?
Why? But I mean, his parts on the record
only.
are very just right, Tell me in your words why he's the right guy.
Let's talk about him like he's not here,
Yeah,
though. That's more fun. I think that everyone in this band has a really distinctive thing that they bring to it. And in Jody's case, his guitar playing is incredible. And we kind of just bring in these songs with acoustic guitar or piano, and then we just let him do his thing and try stuff. And usually we just sit there in the studio and he just experiments for a while and always comes up with really signature stuff.
Yeah, not too much, not too little. Yeah. Chris, tell me why Brian is the drummer of the band. I mean, I listened to those records, and he's it's very important to, I think, the Fountains of Wayne sound, what he's doing.
It's interesting. These 3 guys, myself excluded, sort of can go during soundcheck and play every prog rock record from start
I'm sorry
to finish.
about that.
They often do, and I leave the room. But I think it's more that both Jody and Brian have this sense of what we're going for, and there's this idea that the idea of the band is more than just some people playing. So there's a respect for the song being the dominating feature and playing for that.
It seems like a simple concept, but a lot of bands kind of lose that. Chris, I'll stay with you. Tell me about Adam, the bass player, and the harmony vocalist. Just those 2 jobs.
Damn. Well, I think the bass playing, the stuff that really works for this band is kind of the McCartney-esque stuff, which he has down to a pat. And we knew early on, as far back as 1986 probably, that our voices worked well together. So, yeah.
That's kind of the trademark, almost, that harmony. And tell me why his voice is unusual for lead vocalist, and it works as lead vocalist so well. It's just something about it.
I mean, Chris is a great singer, although he always says that he's not, but I think he's one of the greats. And in fact, his delivery has I think it saves a lot of songs that if other people were singing them would come off as one thing or another. But he has kind of a sincerity in his voice. So even if a song tends to have a sense of humor to it or something, it pulls it back to the center in a way that I think is good.
He takes those notes and he makes them his own.
Well, there's so many songs of yours where the song might have a sense of humor, but it will also sort of almost make you cry. I mean, I've never actually cried to your songs, but almost.
Like, turn it off. God.
The worst thing I ever heard.
It's not schmaltzy, but it's there's a lot of sentiment that you.
That's how you get the girls.
There you go. The truth comes out finally. Second album was Utopia Parkway, 1999, and I thought, okay, this song has hit singles on it. There's no problem. This is just going to be like, this is going to explode giant. And that's not exactly what happened with that. But we go ahead to next record, 2003, Welcome Interstate Manager. Stacy's Mom becomes a actual hit record. It's on those compilations of bad music, it is on...
Bad music.
Now that's what I call bad music.
Exactly. It was...
It's like us and Nickelback and
right.
yeah.
And in one way, for me, it was a surprise because bands I like don't have hits. Jonathan Richman not making a lot of hits, or the Muffs, or people that I like. But on the other hand, it wasn't a surprise because I thought Radiation Vibe was a hit, and I thought Red Dragon Tattoo was a #1 hit song. So
some of those songs had bigger success in other countries like Japan and in the UK.
I heard, I was in Japan and heard you guys on a radio station. I was like, I almost had a heart attack.
Our biggest song in Japan, I think, is Denise, actually. When we play that in Japan, like, the whole audience knows where to clap and everything.
I think I heard I Know You Well.
Do you? They can sing along.
Oh, just short syllables. That's the key. Yeah, I heard that Steve Miller Band's Abracadabra was a huge hit the world over because every language knows that word.
Yeah.
So that's the key to writing a worldwide hit, is finding a word that's in
Just start writing in Esperanto.
There you go. See, so that song became a giant hit and catapulted you guys into this other world for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because we were already a band for 8 years at that
Right.
point, and we knew...
Best New Grammy nomination.
Yeah,
right?
we got a Best New Artist Grammy on our third record after 8 years.
Isn't that wrong? Isn't that just dumb?
It was weird. But I think we kind of knew, even when that stuff was going on, that it was a temporary situation. So I think, in a weird way, we got to enjoy it a little more because of that, because we saw that it was like going to go... I mean, we were, doing these radio shows where we'd go on stage after Jessica Simpson or something, where we would show up and we'd be the only act all day that actually had any instruments. Like, everybody else would just be singing to a track, and we'd show up with guitars, and they'd all be mad at us, like, oh, guitars, come on.
Yeah, well, it is an amazing song. I think maybe Rachel Hunter, too, is the difference between that song and Red Dragon Tattoo. That's kind of the only difference. They're both great songs,
Yeah.
Remember that band, The Flies? That guy who had his basketball shirt, and his gimmick was that he had 3 microphones taped together, and he sang into them.
Gotta have that.
They had that song called "Got You Where I Want You," classic song.
That's
We
what I
used
call
to
him.
we used to play at all these festivals. It was like these radio festivals where it was like every band had only one song that anybody knew, including us. So people were like, oh yeah, I love Stacy's Mom, and then we just walk around. Like, oh, what band song I love by you guys, and just name the
Got
single.
You Where I Want You.
Yeah.
Let's talk for a second about Robbie Fulks and the Fountains of Wayne Hotline. I've had Robbie on the show. He's an amazing songwriter, talented guy. And I said to him, I just want to check. You do love Fountains of Wayne, right? And he said, of course I do. Like, there's no way you can write that song because the level of analyzing the Fountains of Wayne music, basically they just drive around in the van and listen to your music all day. And we've played it a lot on the show. I think the listeners know the song well. What did you guys think when you heard it?
It's kind of an honor, It's like if Weird Al does your song or something. It's
Right.
That means that you've made it. We met that guy. He came to one of our shows. I think he's from Chicago, right? Or somewhere out there. Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
He did a pretty good impression of us, too, just sonically.
Yeah, he did. He's a genius, yeah. Let's play another song. What have you guys got?
What do we talk about doing?
Want to do Hate to See You Like This?
All right.
This is another new song.
Sky Full of Holes, new record comes out August 2nd.
1, 2, 3, 4.
place is a mess, and all your plants are dying. You're lying around in those sweatpants, just staring off into the distance. Come on, give me a kiss. I hate to see you like this. I hate to see you like this. I hate to see you like this. I don't know what's going on in your head now, but I think it's time you got on up out of bed now. Let's get your phone reconnected. Let's get this room disinfected. Come on, give me a kiss. I hate to see you like this. I hate to see you like this. I hate to see you like this. You know whatever's on your mind, it's gonna work itself out over time. But it's never gonna get much better if you don't make a little effort. Just a little effort. Come on, girl, let's pull it together. You can't just watch infomercials forever. If you need a hand, why don't you take mine? Let's get you out into the sunshine. Come on, give me a kiss. I hate to see you like this. I hate to see you like this. I hate to see you like this.
There's Adam, Chris, and Jody from Fountains of Wayne. New record's called Sky Full of Holes. It's on Yep Rock, which is the same label as Nick Lowe. So you're already in.
That was a selling point
yes,
for us,
I
definitely.
imagine it was. Is there any story to why you're on Yep Rock?
They offered us a record deal.
We said yes.
Accepted.
No, I mean, honestly, like they have a great roster, and they were very enthusiastic, and they really seem like music lovers, you know, the people there.
Yeah. You guys have, in the middle of a big tour tonight, big show, Asbury Park at the Stone Pony, which is a legendary place, but shows coming up in Pennsylvania, Japan, at the Bowery Ballroom here. You're also playing on Letterman and Jimmy Fallon. What is it like to do those shows? Like Dave comes over, nice job, sir. You know, good job, sir. Good to see you, sir. Is there any interaction before? Do you see Dave? Does
We had sex.
Yes, that's what I want to know. Up in the intern booby hatch chamber. I mean,
There actually was quite a bit of interaction with like Conan O'Brien, I think, when we did his.
like he actually has CDs and listens to them.
Yeah, he hangs around and he kind of loosens up by like playing a Stratocaster in his office there.
Yeah, he's got a collection of Gretches on his wall, too.
Oh.
I think we played that show like 8 times or something, so get to know people.
I think it's probably like 1,000 times.
It's kind of rough doing the TV thing, though, just because you get there early and then you kind of sit around all day, and then it's like, go, one song, and, you know, it's just a very unnatural environment to play in.
A lot of sandwiches in the green room.
Well, It's a mixed bag. And any...
What kind of sandwiches, Jody? Delicious ones?
Jody very excited about the sandwiches, apparently.
I like the vegetarian ones.
Lay off.
They don't let you leave sort of the area, so you're kind of battling about 8 sandwiches before you go.
A roast beef dangler sandwich?
I met Sue Simmons when we went to do Conan. That was exciting.
That's cool.
They were next door.
Queen
Chuck
Latifah.
Scarborough.
We met Matt Groening.
Or you can be on the same show as Jessica Biel or something. That can be good. Or Marv Albert, you know.
We were actually scheduled to be on Letterman once, and he had this ski jumper, and there was this horrible... They set up this ski jump outside on 53rd Street, snowboarding, and then the jumper missed the jump, and so the whole show got canceled.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Like, she actually flew about, 100 feet in the air and landed on the sidewalk.
On the asphalt, landed it too.
Ouch. It sounds like a song, though. Perhaps there's a song in there somewhere. Personal life. Are you guys married? Do you have kids?
Not to each other.
Well, it's good to know. In Hawaii or New York?
I'm married. Yes, I have 2 kids, 2 daughters.
Married, 2 daughters.
Yeah, I'm married too.
And,
Since 96. I got married the same year our first record came out.
and are some of the songs about? I mean, what percentage are the songs about real living problems and people?
There's a song on that first record called Barbara H, and that's actually my wife's name. So
Oh wow,
gotta do one of those, right?
that's a great song.
And then both of our wives have been featured on our singles artwork.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have some of those. There's a girl with sunglasses by a car.
Yeah.
That's somebody's wife. Yeah.
I actually have a song on this new record called Radio Bar, which
Yeah.
is maybe the first song I've ever written for Fountains of Wayne that's literally true. I mean, everything in that song, it's like our friends' names are in it, and
Right, yeah.
that's a bar. It's a real bar. It's on Hudson.
WCOU, yeah.
Yeah, there's WXOU in the West Village, and I think what's the one in
Is
the
it
East Village?
COU in the East Village?
COU is the East Village one, but they have 2 bars anyway. But yeah, that was like our spot where we kind of started the band to some degree.
And you're still in the jukebox there?
And I met my
to
wife
this-
in that bar.
Oh, amazing.
So
Well,
I'm
alcohol's not all
available.
bad. Jody, apparently, ladies, we can
info@jody.com.
play at least one more song if
Sure.
you can, if you've got it in you. What do you?
You want to do Fire in the Canyon?
Sure. Want to do
Do it
that?
on the piano, right?
All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
There's fire in the canyon, rain on the plain, and an eerie kind of sadness on the highway today. Is it driving together that drove us apart? Or do we change direction, chasing arrows and hearts? We've been wandering alone such a long time. Lose our way as we go town to town. Leave us to be born into a path straight and narrow on every crooked road we travel down. And I'm checking out the road signs, highway hotels, and their air-conditioned cable-ready cold padded cells. We read them like stories in trash magazines, but we ain't really sure what it means. We've been wandering alone such a long time. Lose our way as we go town to town. Leave us to be born into a path straight and narrow on every crooked road we travel down. I'll ride this motorway for 1,000 miles a day till the road runs out of blacktop, or I will this world away. And each town is steeped in rain, and I know each one by name. 'Cause this road is wrapped around me, and I wear it like a chain.
Fountains of Wayne right here on the mighty WFMU. Do you guys like touring? And I ask you that because I've seen you live a lot of times, and it doesn't look like you love it.
Thanks.
Do you?
Live on stage or live on the bus?
On the stage.
We love playing. Yeah, I think that if there's a downer to it, it's just all the traveling. I think it's really kind of exhausting, kind of hopping on a bus or a van or an airplane like once every day, really.
Yeah, that stinks. Since the band's been together for, about 15, 16 years, there's people who are coming to your shows who were 2 or 3 when the first record came out. It's kind of a mind-boggling concept, but is that...
It's kind of a depressing concept.
Is it a challenge to... are you winning new fans every day? Are you...
I actually like the fact that we do seem to have kind of a wide age thing at our shows. Especially, we see people bringing their kids and...
I've always thought lots of teenage girls at your shows for some reason.
You've seen them?
Yeah, I've seen lots of them.
Because we're so sexy and hot.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't want to say it. Let's talk about rock writers, critics, journalists. They love bands like you. Because the lyrics are intelligible and intelligent, I guess. Sometimes do you laugh? Do they read too much into what's going on the records? I guess you can't really piss them off. So.
It's always nice when somebody says something nice about something you've worked on. That's great. There's times where people have really insightful things to say, and I say, oh yeah, good point. And there's other things that are just so far off base that it's hilarious.
What was the guy in? It was in France or something.
Spain.
He was asking about the song is clearly a political reference, and it was like Radiation Vibe or something bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't remember what he was saying. Just
we actually had a thing.
Acid?
We had a thing just recently where this guy interviewed us, and he obviously had this thesis in his head already that our new record was very dark and depressing, and it was about war and middle age. And I was like, I don't really think that's an accurate reading. And I kept trying to not give him the quotes he was digging for, but then he just made up all the quotes anyway.
Yeah. Once they have a story, that's the way it's going. Yeah.
Yeah.
I say it because I was kind of researching and I was reading all these things about you. I was like,
what?
What band are they into? Yeah. There was a piece about you guys in New York Magazine lately that sort of described your relationship in a brotherly way, for better or for worse. Just I imagine you can read each other's minds and finish each other's sentences and stuff.
As with any band that's been together this long, we have giant fights about things sometimes. But
what kind of things do you have giant fights about? Dumb things or important things, or
depends who you ask.
You took the last sandwich, and that's Jody.
Yeah, whatever. No, not stuff like that. The truth is, in terms of the day-to-day touring kind of shit, I think this band gets along almost better than everybody. We're all really good at sharing space and that kind of thing. It's usually creative stuff if there's an argument, but.
One of the things I've seen on your website, which is, I think, fountainsofwayne.com, you're sort of featuring folks covering your songs. And if you search Fountains of Wayne on YouTube, the amount of just normal people, civilians, covering your songs is mind-boggling. And most of them are pretty good, and they're all earnest and kind of sweet.
I think, part of that is that they're really easy to play on the guitar, and people just kind of pick them up to learn how to play it. Honestly, when we were learning how to play guitar, it was REM was what you picked up and tried to figure out. I think that, if you can keep it to G, C, and D, then other people can figure out your song.
Yeah. But there's a lot of complicated musicking on a lot of your songs.
So, yeah, some are harder than others, obviously. But it is, I know what he's saying. It's there's not, if you're somebody that plays acoustic guitar, and you're looking for stuff to learn, there's not as many choices as there used to be when in the era of a James Taylor or something, when that was the dominant sound on the radio,
Right, every guy could go to a party and play James Taylor on guitar, try to get some girls. Thank God that era is over.
Yeah.
Adam, you stay very, very busy, ridiculously busy, including writing songs for Jonas Brothers and that song that opened the Tony Awards this year, which I can't remember the title of.
It's called Broadway is Not Just for Gays Anymore.
Yeah. Amazing song. Chris, you're playing in a country band, sometimes up in where you live in Massachusetts. And then I read somewhere on the internet that you may put a solo record out. Is that possible?
I'm not sure how that rumor got started. I mean, I have songs that I'm sure there will be one day.
One day.
But yeah, I don't know where I saw that somewhere too.
It also said, I also read on Wikipedia that you were writing all the lyrics on the new record and you were writing all the music, and I erased it off Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's incorrect.
In the edit, I was like, that can't be right. That's just ridiculous.
Is that on the Fountains of Wayne Wikipedia
Yeah,
page?
I took it off, but if you hear history, click the history, you'll see that.
Wikipedia is a very reliable source of
yes,
information.
it must be right if it's on Wikipedia, yeah. Well, tell me what is the most misunderstood thing about the band?
That people think we're from New Jersey, I think is a big misconception.
I grew up in New Jersey. Brian lived in New Jersey at some point.
I lived in New Jersey when I was a baby for like a year.
Yeah, we didn't form the band in New Jersey. I mean, obviously the band is named after Fountains of Wayne, the store, which was a New Jersey landmark. And we certainly, or at least I've written about New Jersey a whole lot in a lot of the songs.
Yeah, Long Island and New Jersey get mentioned a lot, but
yeah.
And what do people need to know about the band? What
Awesome.
Assuming people who assuming someone's listening who's never heard you,
We're going to give 110%
every time.
Sometimes.
every other time.
No, we usually we take what the audience is giving us and divide it by 2, multiply it by
then
2,
double it.
and then double it. And then
right.
16% of
Cut it in
that.
half.
That's a lot of bands do that. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Then you have to factor in the size of the audience and the location.
I mean, honestly, the biggest thing is that if people have heard of us at all, a lot of times they've only heard of Stacy's mom, and so we just try to.
Do you think then maybe your fans are kind of all or nothing fans?
I think that people that are into the band are into everything.
Oh,
Like they know all the records and they know a lot of deep cuts. I mean, we seem to have a lot of fans that if they're into it, they know a lot of songs. If people.
Well, the albums are remarkably listenable all the way through all of the albums,
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's just.
But I think the main thing, honestly, is that I think the band has a lot of facets to it. I think the songs, there's a lot of different kinds of songs, and it's not, if they only knew one song or something, they should maybe hear some other stuff.
Agreed. Sky Full of Holes new record comes out August 2nd on Yep Rock, and touring all over the place, Boston and the Wellfleet up in Cape Cod, which is a fun place to play, in New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, and more dates added. So check fountainsofwayne.com for information tonight at the Stone Pony in Asbury Park, and check that website for information. You guys play one last song for us, please?
Yeah, what do we got?
A red light, perhaps.
Want to do that?
Yeah, I'm going to screw up the words, but do it anyway.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sitting in traffic on the Tappan Zee, 50 million people out in front of me, trying to cross the water, but it just might be a while. Rain's coming down, I can't see a thing. Radio is broken, so I'm whistling. New York to Nyack feels like 100 miles. It's not right, it's not fair. I'm still a mess, and you still don't care. Go to work, I come back home. You're still gone, and I'm still alone. And the little red light's not blinking. No, the little red light's not blinking. No, the little red light's not blinking on my big black plastic Japanese cordless phone. Oh no. Stuck in a meeting on a Monday night, trying to get the numbers to come out right. I'm getting tired, think I just might need a drink. And as I'm reaching in the bottom drawer, I'm dreaming about the way it was before. Life was so easy, I never really had to think. It's not right, it's not fair. You're still a mess, and you still don't care. I go to sleep, when I wake up, the light's not blinking. No, no, the little red light's not blinking. No, no, the little red light's not blinking on the desktop mailbox of my big black laptop. Oh no. It's not right, it's not fair. It's still a mess, and you still don't care. I go to work, I come back home, but you're still gone, and I'm still alone. And the little red light's not blinking. No, no, the little red light's not blinking. No, no, the little red light's not blinking on my big black Radio Shack digital portable phone. Oh no. Oh no.
Jody, Chris, Adam, thank you guys.
Thank you very
you.
much.